Hey guys, just checking in. Today is day 6. It is March 23rd, and we're going to do things a little bit differently today. I hope you enjoyed all of the read alouds from last week. Those were some of our family favorites, and we really enjoyed just reading those with you guys and getting used to this whole new learning online platform. Before we left, we were working on a social studies unit about our leaders in our country and how we as a republic vote for the people that we think make good choices. And we also learned about some of our American symbols like the Washington Monument, and we also learned about the flag and all of our 50 stars in our 50 states. We also learned the pledge and how we can be good citizens and just take care of the country that we all love dearly, and how to thank those people who protect us in times of need. Right now, we're going to close up that section of our learning and we're going to open a new one. You might notice I have a star t-shirt on today because we're going to start a unit on space, and we're going to talk about objects that are in the daytime and nighttime sky and the patterns that they create. And I thought we'd start with a read aloud today. I've got some nonfiction texts for you coming up this week. Specifically about the patterns that the sun and the moon create. So I wanted to start us off with a fun book, and this one is called How to Catch a Star. And if you hang on for just a few minutes at the end of our reading, I've got an anchor chart for us to fill out about all the things we already know about space and some of the things we might want to learn over the next couple of days. This is a Scholastic book, so I'll be reading aloud from the Scholastic Publishing House. And the author of our book today is Oliver Jeffries. Once there was a boy, and the boy loved stars very much. Every night the boy watched the stars from his window, and he wished he had one for his very own. He dreamed of how this star would be his friend, and they would play hide and seek and take long walks together. The boy decided he would try to catch one. He thought that getting up early in the morning would be best, because then the star would be tired from being in the sky all night. The next day, he set out at sunrise. But he could not see a star anywhere, so he sat down and waited for one to appear. I wonder why he couldn't see the star in the morning. He waited, and he waited, and he waited. And then he ate lunch, and waited, and after dinner, he waited some more. Finally, just before the sun was about to go away, he saw a star. I guess all of that waiting finally paid off. He was very patient. The boy tried to jump up and grab it, but he could not jump high enough. So, very carefully, he climbed to the top of a tall tree. But the star was still way out of his reach. He thought he might lasso the star with a life preserver from his father's boat, but it was much too heavy for him to carry. That was a good thought. Not sure if it would be successful, but a good thought. If only he could fly up in a spaceship and just grab the star. But the only spaceship he owned was made of paper, and it didn't fly well. Perhaps he could get a seagull to help him fly up into the sky to reach his star. But the only seagull he could find didn't want to help. The boy worried he would never catch his star. Just then, he noticed something floating in the water. It was the prettiest star he had ever seen. Just a baby star. It must have fallen from the sky. He tried to fish it out with his hands, but when the boy reached out to touch the star, it just rippled through his fingers. I notice all the shadows happening. It must be getting really late, because usually shadows have to happen when it's dark outside. Now the boy was sad, but in his heart, the wish just wouldn't give up. Now he has a shadow too. Slowly he began to walk home. And that's when he saw it, washed up on the bright golden sand. The boy had caught a star of his own. Now that was a unique ending. I don't know that we could really catch a star from the sky, but he seemed to fulfill his need for a star by catching one on the beach. If you've ever seen a starfish or a sand dollar, you know that they can wash up in the tide when it's the end of the evening. I do want to encourage you to make a comment today on our video. I know that you've heard some people before on YouTube say scroll down and leave a comment here. Well, I'm going to ask you to do the same thing. So when we finish our reading tonight, I want you to scroll down and make a comment on some of the things I'm going to ask you, all right? I'm going to turn the camera